Commander Hyun-Ki gripped the sides of his captain's chair as another explosion rocked the research ship. The lights flickered and sparks flew from damaged control panels around the bridge. His crew worked frantically at their stations, trying to keep their ship alive. "Hull breach in Section 7, called out Engineer Woo Jin from his station. His voice was calm, but Hyun-Ki could see the worry in his eyes. "I've sealed it for now, but we're losing air fast." The ship shuddered again. Through the main view screen, Hyun-Ki could see the dark shapes of pirate vessels closing in. Their experimental jump drive had brought them to this empty corner of space, far from any help. Now it was broken, leaving them trapped like fish in a barrel. "How long until life support fails?" Hyun-Ki asked his chief engineer. "Maybe 2 hours, sir. 3 if we're lucky," Woo Jin replied. He wiped sweat from his forehead as he worked on the damaged systems. Communications Officer Tae-bin looked up from his console. "Sir, I'm picking up more pirate ships on long-range sensors, at least 15 vessels heading our way." Hyun-Ki's stomach dropped. They were researchers, not fighters. Their small science ship had only basic shields and no weapons worth mentioning. The pirates had already disabled their engines with the first attack. Soon they would be boarded, robbed, and probably killed. "Any response to our distress calls?" he asked. Tae-bin shook his head sadly. "Nothing, sir. We're too far from any trading routes. No one can hear us out here." The commander looked around at his crew. These were good people, scientists and explorers who had signed up to study new worlds and discover amazing things. They didn't deserve to die in this empty place, forgotten by the galaxy. Another blast hit their ship. This time, the artificial gravity flickered for a moment. Several crew members grabbed onto their stations to keep from floating away. "Sir," said Navigator Minsu, "the pirates are moving into attack formation. They'll be in weapons range in 10 minutes. Hyun-Ki closed his eyes for a moment. As captain, it was his job to protect his crew, but what could he do? They had no weapons, no engines, and no way to escape. "Wait," Tae-bin suddenly said, his voice excited. "Sir, I think I found something." "What is it?" Hyun-Ki asked, hope creeping into his voice. "I've been scanning all communication frequencies, looking for anyone who might help us. I found an old emergency channel. It's very weak, but it might reach someone." "Who?" Minsu asked. Tae-bin frowned at his readings. "I'm not sure. The frequency is ancient. It might be from one of the old colonies that went silent years ago. But it's our only chance." Hyun-Ki didn't hesitate. "Send the message. Tell them we need help immediately." Tae-bin's fingers flew over his controls, but in his panic, he made a mistake. The universal translator was damaged from the attack, and several key words came out wrong. Instead of identifying themselves as alien researchers, the message said they were human colonists under attack. "Message sent, sir," Tae-bin reported. "I've included our exact location and told them we're under attack by hostile forces. I asked for immediate military support." "Good work," Hyun-Ki said, though he didn't hold much hope. Even if someone received the message, help would probably arrive too late. The pirate ships moved closer. Their leader's voice crackled over the radio, speaking in the rough trade language used by criminals across the galaxy. "Unknown vessel, prepare to be boarded. Surrender now, and we might let some of you live." Hyun-Ki ignored the threat. He turned to his crew. "Everyone gather in the center of the bridge. If they board us, stay together. Don't fight them unless you have to." His crew moved away from their stations. They were scared, but they trusted their captain. Hyun-Ki had led them through dangerous missions before, though nothing like this. "Sir," Woo Jin said quietly, "it's been an honor serving with you." "Don't talk like that," Hyun-Ki replied. "We're not dead yet." But inside, he knew their chances were very small. The pirates were known for their cruelty. Even if they surrendered, most of the crew would probably be sold as slaves or simply killed. The ship shook again as the pirates fired warning shots. They were playing with their prey now, enjoying the fear they were causing. Tabin checked his communications equipment one more time. Still no response to our distress call, sir. Hyun-Ki nodded. He hadn't really expected an answer. They were too far from civilization, too far from anyone who cared about their fate. 5 minutes until the pirates reach us, Min-Soo reported. The crew gathered closer together. Some of them were crying quietly. Others prayed to their various gods. Hyun-Ki tried to think of something encouraging to say, but his mind was blank. Then, something strange happened. Tabin's communication console began beeping frantically. "Sir," he called out, his voice filled with disbelief. "I'm receiving a transmission." "From who?" Hyun-Ki asked, rushing to the communication station. I'm not sure," Tabin said, staring at his screen. "The signal is incredibly strong, much stronger than anything I've ever seen, and it's coming from the direction of that old frequency I used. What does it say?" Tabin worked to decode the message. His eyes grew wide as he read it. "Sir, they say help is coming. They're sending ships to our location immediately." Hyun-Ki felt a spark of hope, but he tried to stay realistic. "How many ships? What kind?" Tabin checked his readings again. "Sir, this can't be right. According to this transmission, they're sending an entire fleet." "A fleet?" Min-Soo asked. "Who has that kind of military power?" Before anyone could answer, the pirate leader's voice came over the radio again. This time, he sounded angry. "Last warning, research ship. Surrender now or we'll blow you apart." Hyun-Ki looked at his crew. They were all watching him, waiting for his decision. He could surrender and hope the pirates would be merciful, or he could gamble that help was really coming. He made his choice. "Tabin, send a reply to our rescuers. Tell them we're still alive, but under immediate attack. Ask them how long until they arrive." "Yes, sir," Tabin said, sending the message. The response came back almost instantly. Tabin read it and his face went pale. "Sir, they say their advanced scouts will arrive in 30 minutes. Their main fleet will be here in 2 hours. Can we hold out that long?" Hyun-Ki asked Woo Jin. The engineer checked his instruments. "Maybe, sir, if we shut down all non-essential systems and the pirates don't hit us too hard." Hyun-Ki turned to face the pirate ships on the view screen. 30 minutes. They just had to survive 30 more minutes. "All hands, this is your captain," he announced over the ship's intercom. "Help is coming. We just need to hold on a little longer." He didn't know who was coming to save them, or how they had such powerful ships. But for the first time since the attack began, Commander Hyun-Ki allowed himself to hope that his crew might actually survive this nightmare. Deep Space Monitoring Station. Alpha 7 orbited Earth's moon in quiet routine. Technician So-Min sat at her console, watching the endless stream of data from sensors pointed toward the stars. Most days, nothing interesting happened. Space was big and mostly empty. But today was different. Her computer suddenly started beeping with an urgent alert. So-Min sat up straight and checked her screens. A distress signal was coming in on an old emergency frequency. The signal was weak and distorted, but the message was clear enough. Urgent assistance required. Under attack by hostile forces. Coordinates attached. Please send immediate military support. So-Min frowned. The signal claimed to be from human colonists, but the coordinates showed a location far beyond any known human settlements. She checked the star charts twice to make sure. "That's impossible," she whispered to herself. "No human ships have ever gone that far." But the signal was definitely using human communication protocols, and the distress code was correct. According to Earth's military regulations, any human in danger had to be helped immediately, no matter where they were. So Min picked up her secure communication device and called her supervisor. "Station Commander, this is So-Min. I need to report an emergency." Within minutes, the signal was being analyzed by Earth's top experts. The message traveled quickly up the chain of command, reaching the highest levels of Earth's government. Admiral. Dong-Su was in his office at Terra Command when the call came in. He was a tall, serious man who had spent 40 years protecting Earth and its colonies. When he heard about the distress signal, he didn't hesitate. "Show me the message," he ordered. His aide, Major Young-ho, displayed the transmission on the main screen. The Admiral read it carefully, then checked the coordinates. "This location is at least 6 months' travel from our nearest outpost," Young-ho said. "How could human colonists have gotten so far?" Admiral Dong-Su studied the star charts. "Maybe they were exploring. Maybe they got lost. It doesn't matter. The signal is authentic, and they're asking for help." "Sir, it could be a trap," Young-ho warned. "Some alien species might be trying to lure our ships into an ambush." The Admiral considered this possibility. It was true that Earth had made some enemies since joining the galactic community, but Earth's policy was clear and simple. No human calls for help would be ignored. "Alert the 7th Fleet," Admiral Dong-Su ordered. "Tell Captain Ji-won to prepare for immediate deployment." "The entire 7th Fleet, sir?" Young-ho asked, surprised. "That's 37 warships." "These colonists are under attack by hostile forces," the Admiral replied. "They need enough firepower to handle any threat." Young-ho saluted and hurried away to carry out the orders. Within an hour, alarms were ringing at naval bases across the Earth system. Captain Ji-won was aboard her flagship, the Terra's Hammer, when the alert came through. She was a veteran officer who had fought in 3 major conflicts. Her ship was one of Earth's most powerful warships, equipped with the latest weapons and shields. "Ma'am, we have emergency deployment orders," reported her communications officer. Lieutenant Jae-hyun Ji-won read the orders quickly. "A distress call from unknown human colonists? How is that possible?" "Unknown, Captain," Jae-hyun replied. "But Admiral Dong-Su wants the entire fleet ready to jump in 6 hours." Captain Ji-won looked out at the stars through her bridge windows. 6 hours to prepare for a mission into unknown space. It would be challenging, but her crew was ready. Alert. "All department heads," she ordered, "full combat readiness. I want weapons, shields, and engines at maximum efficiency." Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Da-eun, looked up from her station. "Captain, should we contact the Galactic Council about this mission?" "Negative," Ji-won replied. "This is a human rescue operation. We'll inform other species after we know what we're dealing with." Across the fleet, similar preparations were taking place. Engineers checked every system twice. Weapons officers loaded the most advanced ammunition. Medical teams prepared for possible casualties. Dr. Yun-bi, Earth's chief diplomat, tried to gather information about the mystery location. She contacted her sources in various alien governments, asking if they knew anything about human activity in that sector. The answers she received were troubling. Several species reported increased pirate activity in that region. Trade ships had been disappearing for months. No government had been able to stop the attacks. "Admiral," Dr. Yun-bi reported, "to Dong-Su, it seems our colonists have wandered into a very dangerous area. Pirate gangs control several systems in that sector." Admiral Dong-Su nodded grimly. "Then they definitely need our help. How many pirate ships are we talking about?" "Intelligence reports suggest at least 50 vessels, sir. Maybe more." The Admiral paused. 50 pirate ships was a significant force, but the 7th Fleet had dealt with worse odds before. "Contact Captain Ji-won," he ordered. "Tell her to expect heavy resistance." Captain Ji-won received the update while her engineers were making final preparations. 50 pirate ships would normally be a serious threat, but her fleet included some of Earth's most advanced warships. "Chief Engineer Woo Jin," she called to her engine room. "How long until we can jump?" 2 hours, Captain," came the reply. "All systems will be at peak efficiency." Ji-won nodded. She turned to her navigation officer, Lieutenant Min-soo. "Plot the fastest course to these coordinates. I want to arrive with the entire fleet in formation." "Yes, ma'am. Calculating now." As the hours passed, the fleet gathered in formation near Earth's moon. 37 warships of various sizes, from fast destroyers to massive battleships. It was an impressive sight that made the monitoring station crews stop their work to watch. Admiral Dongsu observed the fleet from his command center. He felt proud of how quickly his people had responded, but he also felt worried about what they might find at their destination. "Sir," Major Young-ho reported, "Captain Ji-won signals ready for departure. Give them permission to jump," the admiral ordered. In space, the massive fleet began to glow as their jump drives powered up. The process took several minutes as each ship carefully calculated its trajectory. Captain Ji-won stood on her bridge, watching the countdown timer. Around her, the crew worked with quiet efficiency. They had trained for missions like this, but it still felt strange to be rushing into unknown space. "All ships report ready, Captain," Lieutenant Jae-hyun announced. "Execute jump," Ji-won ordered. The space around Earth suddenly flashed with brilliant light as 37 human warships disappeared into hyperspace. They were heading toward a mystery that would change everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. Behind them, Admiral Dongsu sent a priority message to Earth's government. He explained the situation and requested that more fleets be prepared for deployment if needed. The response came back quickly. "Do whatever is necessary to bring our people home." Admiral Dongsu smiled. That was exactly what he intended to do. Meanwhile, racing through hyperspace at incredible speed, Captain Ji-won and her fleet hurried toward their unknown destination. They had no idea they were about to make first contact with an alien species, or that their rescue mission would become the most important event in galactic history. All they knew was that humans were in danger, and Earth always answered the call for help. Council leader Kang Ho was reviewing trade reports when his assistant burst into his office without knocking. The young aide's face was pale with fear. "Sir, we have an emergency," the assistant said, breathing heavily. "The humans are mobilizing. They're military." Kang Ho looked up from his desk. As one of the few alien species that maintained good relations with Earth, he often received updates about human activities. But military mobilization was unusual. "How large a force?" he asked. Calmly. "Sir, our spies report at least 30 ships, maybe more. They're moving toward the Outer Rim territories." Kang Ho felt his stomach drop. 30 human warships was enough firepower to conquer several small star systems. The humans were still new to galactic politics, but their military technology was frighteningly advanced. "Do we know why they're mobilizing?" he asked. "No, sir. The humans haven't made any public announcements. Their government isn't responding to our requests for information." Kang Ho stood up and walked to his window. Outside, he could see the massive space station that housed the Galactic Council. Ships from dozens of different species came and went, constantly, conducting the business that kept their civilizations running peacefully. "Alert the Emergency Council," he ordered. "We need to discuss this immediately." Within an hour, representatives from the major galactic powers had gathered. In the council chamber, the mood was tense. Everyone had heard rumors about the human fleet movement, and fear was spreading quickly. Council member Hai Rim spoke first. Her species had been one of the first to encounter humans, and she understood them better than most. "We need to remain calm," she said to the assembled delegates. "The humans have always been reasonable in their dealings with us." "Reasonable?" snorted Admiral Kwang Su of the Stellar Alliance. "Tell that to the pirates who tried to raid their shipping lanes. The humans wiped out an entire fleet without losing a single ship." Several council members nodded grimly. The Proxima incident had become legendary throughout the galaxy. A human destroyer had encountered 27 pirate vessels attacking a merchant convoy. Instead of retreating, the single human ship had destroyed the entire pirate fleet in less than an hour. That was different, Hai Rim argued. The pirates attacked. First, the humans were defending innocent civilians. "And now they're moving 30 warships toward the Rim territories," said General Sunmi of the Trade Federation. "What if they've decided to expand their territory?" The question hung in the air like a dark cloud. Human expansion was every species' worst nightmare. Earth's military technology was decades ahead of most galactic civilizations. If humans decided to conquer new worlds, few governments could stop them. Council leader Kang Ho called for order. Let's not panic. We need facts, not speculation. I have facts, announced Intelligence Chief Bo Ram as she entered the chamber. She was carrying a data pad filled with information her agents had gathered. Tell us what you know, Kang Ho ordered. Bo Ram activated the main display screen. At 800 this morning, Earth time, the human 7th Fleet began emergency deployment procedures. 37 warships, including their newest battleship, the Terra's Hammer. The council members exchanged worried glances. The Terra's Hammer was rumored to be the most powerful warship in known space. Where are they going? Asked Admiral Kwang Su. Sector 7 Alpha, approximately 400 light-years from their nearest colony. Several delegates gasped. Sector 7 Alpha was deep in unclaimed space, far from any major trade routes. There's nothing valuable in that sector, said General Sun Mi. Why would they send such a large force there? Unknown, Bo Ram replied. But we have detected increased pirate activity in that region recently. Several merchant ships have disappeared there in the past few months. Pirates! Muttered Commander In Ho of the peacekeeping force. Maybe the humans are planning to clean out that sector. With 37 warships? Hayrim asked skeptically. That's enough firepower to destroy every pirate ship in the galaxy twice over. The debate continued for hours. Some council members believed the humans were planning conquest. Others thought they might be responding to a threat. A few suggested that Earth might be testing their military capabilities. We need to send our own forces, declared Admiral Kwang Su. If the humans are planning something aggressive, we should be prepared to stop them. And start a war with Earth? Kang Ho asked. That would be suicide for all of us. It was true, and everyone knew it. Human military doctrine was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They combined advanced technology with tactical thinking. That seemed almost supernatural. Other species fought carefully, trying to minimize losses. Humans fought to win, no matter the cost. What about their government? Asked General Sun Mi. Can't we contact their leaders directly? We've tried, Bo Ram replied. Earth's government says it's a classified military operation. They won't give us any details. The silence that followed was heavy with worry. Classification usually meant something serious was happening. I'm mobilizing the Alliance fleet, Admiral D. Kwang Su announced. 20 ships, ready to respond if the humans become aggressive. I'll do the same, said General Sun Mi. The Trade Federation can have 15 vessels in that sector within 2 days. Commander In Ho nodded. The peacekeeping force will contribute 10 ships. We need to monitor this situation closely. Council leader Kang Ho felt sick. What had started as a routine day was turning into a potential military crisis. If multiple fleets converged in the same area, a single misunderstanding could trigger a galactic war. I want all fleet commanders to exercise extreme caution, he announced. No aggressive actions. No weapons charging unless directly threatened. We're there to observe only. The council members agreed, but Kang Ho could see the fear in their eyes. Everyone remembered stories about human military efficiency. During Yibol, their first contact with other species, humans had been polite but firm. They wanted peace, but they were clearly prepared for war. There's something else, Bo Ram said quietly. Our agents report that Earth is preparing additional fleets for deployment. This might be just the beginning. The chamber erupted in worried voices. If Earth was preparing for major military action, every species in the galaxy was at risk. Enough, Kang Ho called out. We need to act professionally. Send diplomatic messages to all major governments. Tell them what we know and ask them to avoid the Sector 7 Alpha region until this situation is resolved. And if they ask why? Hayrim inquired. Tell them the truth. The humans are conducting a large military operation and we don't know why. As the council meeting broke up, representatives hurried away to contact their home governments. Within hours, The news had spread across the galaxy. Human fleet movements were tracked by dozens of intelligence agencies. Military commanders checked their own forces and prepared for possible conflict. On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Kwang Su studied star charts of Sector 7 Alpha. His fleet was already moving toward the area, ready to monitor human activities. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving similar movement reports from other species. It looks like half the galaxy is heading toward that sector." Admiral Kwang Su nodded grimly. A small human rescue mission was about to become the largest gathering of military forces in galactic history. "Maintain course," he ordered, "and pray that we're all wrong about human intentions." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other species were making similar preparations. Fear of human military power was driving everyone toward the same destination. None of them knew that the humans were simply trying to rescue what they believed were their own people. The stage was set for either first contact or the biggest misunderstanding in galactic history. Commander Hyun-Ki watched his chronometer tick down the final minutes. His crew had managed to keep their damaged ship running for almost 2 hours since sending the distress call. The pirates were still circling them like hungry predators, occasionally firing warning shots to remind them who was in control. "Any word from our rescuers?" he asked Communications Officer Tae-bin. "Still maintaining radio silence, sir," Tae-bin replied, "but I'm detecting some unusual energy readings in the distance." Navigator Min-Soo looked up from his sensor station. "Sir, I'm picking up multiple hyperspace exits approximately 50,000 kilometers away." Hyun-Ki felt his heart race. "How many ships?" "I count—" "Sir, this can't be right. I'm showing over 30 vessels." The bridge fell silent. Even the most powerful galactic governments rarely deployed more than 10 ships at once. 30 ships meant a major military operation. "Sir," Tae-bin said, his voice filled with wonder, "I'm receiving a transmission on the emergency frequency." "Put it through," Hyun-Ki ordered. A new voice came over the speakers, speaking in clear, confident tones. "Unknown vessel, this is Captain Ji-won of the Earthship Terra's Hammer. We received your distress call. Please identify yourselves and report your status." Hyun-Ki stared at his crew in confusion. "Earthship? I've never heard of any species called humans." Engineer Woo Jin checked his computer databases. "Sir, there's no record of humans in any of our files. Maybe they're from the Outer Rim," suggested Min-Soo. "There are still unexplored regions beyond Council space." Hyun-Ki made a decision. Whoever these humans were, they had come to help. That was what mattered. "This is Commander Hyun-Ki of the research vessel Stellar Dawn. We are scientists from the Kepler Institute. Our ship is heavily damaged and we're under attack by pirate forces." There was a pause before the human captain responded. "Commander, we show 34 pirate vessels in your area. Are these the hostiles that attacked you?" "Yes, Captain. They disabled our engines and have been preparing to board us." "Understood. Please move your ship away from the pirate formation if possible. We're moving to engage." Hyun-Ki looked at his engineer. "Can we get any movement from the engines?" "Maybe some maneuvering thrusters, sir," Woo Jin replied. "Enough to drift away slowly." "Do it." As the Stellar Dawn began to drift away from the pirate ships, Hyun-Ki watched his sensors in amazement. The human fleet was moving into formation. With military precision, each ship took its position like pieces on a game board. "Sir," Min-Soo reported, "the pirate leader is trying to contact us." "Ignore him," Hyun-Ki ordered. "I want to see what these humans can do." Captain Ji-won stood on the bridge of the Terra's Hammer, studying the tactical display. Her fleet had emerged from hyperspace to find a situation exactly as described in the distress call. A damaged alien ship was surrounded by pirate vessels, but something was wrong. The ship they had come to rescue was clearly alien in design. The crew was speaking an unknown language. According to the distress call, they should have found human colonists. "Captain," her communications officer, Lieutenant Jae-hyun, reported, "I'm getting translation software online." The damaged ship appears to be crewed by a previously unknown species. Are they hostile? Asked Tactical Officer Dae-yoon. No, ma'am. They claim to be researchers. Their ship has no significant weapons. Captain Ji-won frowned. This wasn't what she had expected, but the situation was clear enough. Innocent beings were under attack by pirates. Earth's response would be the same regardless of species. All ships. This is Terra's hammer, she announced over the fleet communication channel. We have a rescue situation. Unknown aliens under attack by pirate forces. Standard engagement protocols. Her fleet acknowledged the orders and began moving into attack formation. The pirates, meanwhile, had noticed the new arrivals and were trying to decide how to respond. On the pirate flagship, Captain Soo-bin studied the approaching fleet with growing concern. She had never seen ship designs like these before. The vessels were sleek and obviously powerful, with weapon systems that didn't match any known technology. How many ships? She asked her scanner operator. 37, Captain. All of them are bigger than anything in our fleet. Soo-bin felt a chill run down her spine. Her pirate armada was the largest in this sector. She commanded over 30 ships herself and had terrorized this region for months without serious opposition. Try to contact them, she ordered. Maybe we can negotiate. But the unknown fleet wasn't interested in talking. They continued their approach in perfect formation, weapon systems powering up. Captain, her tactical officer reported, they're targeting our ships, all of them at once. That's impossible, Soo-bin snapped. No fleet can coordinate targeting that precisely. But the sensor readings didn't lie. Each human ship had locked onto multiple pirate vessels. The coordination was unlike anything the pirates had ever encountered. All ships, open fire, Soo-bin ordered desperately. The pirate fleet launched their attack first, sending hundreds of missiles and energy bolts toward the human ships. Soo-bin watched confidently as her overwhelming firepower raced toward the enemy. Then something incredible happened. The human ships began moving in ways that seemed to defy physics. They twisted and turned through space, their defensive systems working in perfect harmony. Point defense lasers shot down incoming missiles with surgical precision. Energy shields deflected shots that couldn't be avoided. Not a single human ship was damaged. Return fire, Captain Ji-won ordered calmly. The human response was swift and devastating. Each ship fired with deadly accuracy, targeting specific systems on the pirate vessels. Within minutes, half the pirate fleet was disabled, their engines and weapons destroyed. Commander Hyun-ki watched the battle from his damaged bridge in absolute amazement. The human ships moved like dancers, their coordination perfect. The pirates' chaotic attack had been effortlessly defeated. Sir, Tae-bin said in an awed voice, the humans just disabled 15 pirate ships without destroying a single one. Incredible, whispered Engineer Woo Jin. Look at their targeting systems. They're only hitting engines and weapons. They're trying not to kill anyone. The battle was essentially over. The remaining pirate ships, seeing their comrades disabled so easily, began to surrender. Captain Soo-bin's voice came over the radio, broadcasting on all frequencies. We surrender! We surrender! Please don't destroy us! Captain Ji-won opened a channel to the pirate fleet. This is Captain Ji-won of Earth Fleet. You will power down all weapons and prepare to be boarded. Any ship that attempts to flee will be destroyed. The pirates complied immediately. Within an hour, the entire pirate armada was under human control. This is Terra's hammer calling Stellar Dawn, came the human captain's voice. The immediate threat has been neutralized. Do you require medical assistance? Commander Hyun-ki found his voice. Thank you, Captain. We have injured crew members and extensive ship damage. Understood. We're sending medical teams and engineers to assist you. As Hyun-ki watched human shuttles approach his ship, he realized that everything was about to change. These humans were clearly a major military power, but they had risked their lives to save complete strangers. Sir, Navigator Minsu said quietly, I'm detecting more ship movements. Multiple fleets are approaching this location. More humans? Hyun-Ki asked. No, sir. These are council ships. Stellar Alliance, Trade Federation, Peacekeeping Force. It looks like half the galaxy is heading our way. Commander Hyun-Ki sank into his captain's chair. What had started as a simple research mission was turning into something much bigger. He had a feeling that this first contact between humans and the galactic community would be remembered forever. Outside, his ship, human engineers were already beginning repairs, while medical teams tended to his injured crew. And somewhere in the distance, the combined fleets of known space were racing toward this location, driven by fear and curiosity about these mysterious humans who had appeared from nowhere to save alien lives. Captain Ji-won stood in the airlock of her shuttle as it docked with the alien research ship. She wore her formal uniform and carried a translation device, preparing for what might be humanity's first contact with another intelligent species. The airlock cycled open to reveal Commander Hyun-Ki waiting on the other side. He was tall and thin, with large dark eyes and pale blue skin. His uniform was torn and stained from the battle damage to his ship. Captain Ji-won, he said, his voice translated by their computers. I cannot express how grateful we are for your help. Commander Hyun-Ki, Ji-won replied, offering a formal bow. Earth is honored to meet your people, though I must admit, we're confused about your distress call. Confused? Hyun-Ki asked as he led her through the damaged corridors of his ship. The message identified you as human colonists. But you're clearly not human. Hyun-Ki stopped walking and looked embarrassed. Ah, that explains much. Our communications officer Tae-bin was injured during the attack. The universal translator was damaged. He must have made an error in the message. They reached the ship's bridge, where Ji-won could see the extent of the damage. Cables hung from the ceiling, control panels were dark, and the air smelled of smoke and ozone. You mean you're not human colonists at all? Ji-won asked. No, Captain. We are researchers from the Kepler Institute. We were testing experimental jump drive technology when we encountered those pirates. And you've never heard of humans before today? Never, Hyun-Ki confirmed. In fact, we thought your species might be from the unknown regions beyond Council. Space. Captain Ji-won felt a chill run down her spine. If these aliens had never heard of humans, and humans had never encountered them, then this was truly first contact between their civilizations. Commander, she said carefully, what is this Galactic Council you mentioned? The ruling body for most of known space, Hyun-Ki explained. Over 40 species working together for trade and peace. Surely your people are members. We've never heard of any Galactic Council, Ji-won replied. Earth has encountered no other intelligent species until today. Both officers stared at each other as the implications sank in. This wasn't just a rescue mission anymore. This was a meeting between two completely separate civilizations. Captain, Lieutenant Jae-hyun's voice came over Ji-won's communicator. We're detecting multiple hyperspace signatures approaching. Large fleets, unknown configuration. Ji-won and Hyun-Ki hurried to the nearest functioning sensor station. The display showed dozens of ships approaching from different directions. Council forces, Hyun-Ki identified. Stellar Alliance, Trade Federation, Peacekeeping Fleet. They must have detected your arrival. Are they hostile? Ji-won asked. Normally, no. But they've never encountered humans before. They might be afraid. Captain Ji-won activated her communicator. Terra's hammer, this is the captain. Alert all ships. We have multiple unknown fleets approaching. Defensive formations, but not power weapons unless threatened. Acknowledged, Captain, came the reply from her ship. Over the next 30 minutes, the area around the damaged research vessel became crowded with warships. The human fleet maintained its position near the stellar dawn, while alien vessels took Up positions at a respectful distance. Admiral Kwang Su was the first to make contact. His alliance fleet had arrived expecting to find evidence of human aggression. Instead, he found humans providing medical aid to aliens. Unknown vessels, his. Transmission came over open frequencies. This is Admiral Kwang Su of the Stellar Alliance. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions. Captain Ji-won returned to her ship to handle the diplomatic contact. She stood on her bridge looking at the alien admiral's image on the main screen. He appeared reptilian, with scaled green skin and golden eyes. Admiral Kwang Su, I am Captain Ji-won of the Earth ship Terra's Hammer. We responded to a distress call from the research vessel Stellar Dawn. The immediate threat has been neutralized. Earth? The Admiral asked, his confusion obvious. We have no record of any species called humans. We have no record of your species either, Admiral. This appears to be first contact between our civilizations. Before Admiral Kwang Su could respond, General Sunmi's fleet arrived from another direction. Her ships were sleek and silver, clearly built for speed. What is the situation here? Her voice joined the communication channel. We detected Major. Military activity. Captain Ji-won explained the rescue operation again while more fleets continued to arrive. Soon, representatives from a dozen different species were participating in the conversation. All of them were confused about these mysterious humans who had appeared from nowhere. Let me understand this correctly, said Commander In-ho of the peacekeeping force. You deployed 37 warships to rescue 8 alien researchers? Yes, Ji-won replied simply. But why? Asked General Sunmi. They're not even your species. Captain Ji-won was quiet for a moment. The question seemed strange to her. Because they asked for help. The alien commanders exchanged glances on their various screens. The concept seemed foreign to them. Captain, Admiral Kwang Su said slowly, in galactic politics, species typically only help their own kind or their close allies. Why would you risk so many ships for strangers? Because it was the right thing to do, Ji-won answered. The distress call said people were in danger. We responded. On board the Stellar Dawn, Commander Hyun-ki listened to the conversation with growing amazement. He had studied dozens of species during his career as a researcher. None of them would have sent such a large fleet to help aliens they had never met. Tae-bin, he said to his communications officer. Are you recording all of this? Yes, sir. The Kepler Institute will want a complete record of first contact with humans. Make sure you capture everything. This might be the most important day in galactic history. The diplomatic conversation continued for over an hour. Human representatives explained Earth's location and how they had developed faster-than-light travel. Alien commanders described the Galactic Council and the complex politics of known space. Your species is remarkably advanced for being so isolated, observed General Sunmi. Your military technology appears superior to most council members. We've had to be self-reliant, Captain Ji-won explained. Without knowing about other species, we assumed we might encounter hostiles when we reached the stars. And instead, your first action was to rescue aliens under attack, noted Commander In-ho. This says much about human character. The conversation was interrupted when Lieutenant Da-un detected something troubling on her sensors. Captain, she reported, I'm detecting additional ships approaching. They're not broadcasting council identification codes. Admiral Kwang Su checked his own sensors. Pirates. A large fleet of them heading straight for us. How many? Ji-won asked. At least 50 ships, much larger than the force you already defeated. Commander Hyun-ki's voice came over the communication channel from the Stellar Dawn. Captain Ji-won, those pirates have been terrorizing this sector for months. They're probably coming to investigate what happened to their advance fleet. Captain. Ji-won studied the tactical display. 50 pirate ships against the combined human and council fleets would normally be manageable. But with so many different species trying to coordinate their efforts, the battle could become chaotic. Admiral Kwang Su, she said, have your forces ever fought alongside humans before? Obviously not, Captain. We just met you. Then I suggest we establish clear command protocols before the pirates arrive. Otherwise, we'll get in each other's way. It was a reasonable suggestion, but implementing it wouldn't be easy. The alien commanders had to quickly learn human tactical procedures, while the humans tried to understand Council military doctrine. As the pirate fleet approached, representatives from two completely different civilizations prepared to fight their first battle together. The outcome would determine not just their survival, but the future relationship between humans and the galactic community. All ships, Captain G1 announced over the combined fleet channels. Prepare for combat. Today, we fight as one. The combined fleet numbered over 90 ships by the time the pirates arrived. Human vessels formed the center of the formation, while Council ships took positions on the flanks. It was an impressive sight that would have intimidated any normal enemy, but these pirates were desperate. Their advance fleet had been captured. Their operations in this sector were falling apart, and they needed a victory to maintain their reputation. Pirate Lord Subin had called in favors from criminal organizations across the Rim territories. 57. Hostile ships approaching, reported Lieutenant Dayun from the Terra's Hammer. Mixed configuration. Some appear to be modified cargo vessels with illegal weapons. Captain Jiwan studied the tactical display. The pirate fleet was larger than expected, but poorly organized. They were approaching in a loose formation that showed no coordination. Admiral Kwang Su, she said over the communication channel, recommend your fast attack ships take the left flank. Our destroyers will cover the right. Understood, Captain. General Sun Mi, can your forces provide long-range support? Affirmative, the Trade Federation commander replied. Our ships carry the most advanced sensor arrays. We can provide targeting data for the entire fleet. As the two sides closed the distance, Commander Hyun Ki watched from the safety of the stellar dawn. His damaged research ship had been moved well away from the battle zone, protected by a small escort of human and alien vessels. This is incredible, he said to Engineer Wu Jin. I've never seen different species coordinate their military forces so quickly. The humans seem to be natural leaders, Wu Jin observed. Look how the Council ships are following their tactical suggestions. It was true. Despite being newcomers, to galactic politics, the humans had quickly established themselves as the dominant force in the combined fleet. Their superior technology and obvious military experience made other commanders willing to follow their lead. The pirate fleet opened. Fire first, launching a massive barrage of missiles and energy weapons. But their attack was uncoordinated, with different groups firing at different times. All ships, evasive maneuvers, Captain G1 ordered. Maintain formation integrity. The combined fleet moved like a single organism. Human ships used their advanced maneuvering systems while Council vessels followed their lead. The pirate attack, which should have devastated such a large target, caused minimal damage. Return fire, Admiral Kwang Su commanded. All ships, target the lead pirate vessels. The response was devastating. Human precision weapons worked alongside alien energy systems, creating a coordinated attack that the pirates couldn't match. Within minutes, the front ranks of the pirate fleet were disabled or destroyed. But the pirates had numbers on their side. They spread out, trying to surround the combined fleet and attack from multiple directions. They're trying to split our formation, observed General Sun Mi. Let them, Captain Jiwan replied. Commander Inho, can your peacekeeping ships handle the southern group? Gladly, Captain. We have experience dealing with pirates. The battle became a showcase of military cooperation. Human ships provided heavy firepower while Council vessels used their specialized abilities. Trade Federation ships jammed pirate communications. Alliance vessels used their speed to outflank enemy formations. Peacekeeping forces demonstrated their experience in dealing with criminals. Aboard the pirate flagship, Subin watched her fleet being systematically destroyed. The coordination between human and alien forces was unlike anything she had ever seen. "How are they working together so well?" she demanded of her tactical officer. "They're completely different species." "Unknown, Captain. But they're cutting through our forces like we're not even fighting back." Subin realized that her fleet was doomed. The combined force opposing her was simply too advanced and too well coordinated. But she refused to surrender easily. "All ships, ramming speed!" she ordered desperately. "If we're going down, we take some of them with us." The remaining pirate ships abandoned their weapons and charged directly at the combined fleet, hoping to cause damage through collision. "Suicide attack," Lieutenant Daun reported from the Terra's hammer. 15 ships incoming at maximum speed." "All ships, precision targeting," Captain Jiwan ordered calmly. "Disable their engines before they reach us." The response was swift and precise. Human point defense systems worked with alien targeting computers to stop every suicide ship before it could reach the fleet. The pirates' last desperate attack failed completely. "This is Pirate Lord Subin," came a transmission from the enemy flagship. "We surrender unconditionally." The battle was over. In less than 2 hours, the combined human and council forces had defeated the largest pirate fleet in the sector. More importantly, they had done it without losing a single ship. "Excellent work, everyone," Captain Jiwan announced over the fleet channels. "All ships begin prisoner processing according to galactic law." It was a significant statement. By following galactic law, the humans were acknowledging the authority of the council system. The alien commanders took note of this diplomatic gesture. As the fleets began the cleanup operation, more ships continued to arrive. News of the battle had spread quickly through council space, drawing representatives from dozens of species. Admiral Inho arrived with a formal delegation from the Galactic Council headquarters. His massive flagship dwarfed even the largest human vessels. "This is Admiral Inho, Council Military Command." His transmission reached all ships in the area. "I'm here to investigate reports of unknown military activity." "Admiral, this is Captain G1 of Earth Fleet. We've just concluded a joint operation against pirate forces. The situation is secure." Admiral Inho studied the tactical reports his staff provided. The efficiency of the battle was remarkable. A large pirate fleet had been defeated with minimal casualties and perfect coordination between species that had never worked together before. "Captain Jiwan, I would like to meet with you in person. This situation requires formal diplomatic attention." "Understood, Admiral. We're prepared to receive your delegation." As diplomatic shuttles moved between the various flagships, Commander Hyunki prepared his own report for the Kepler Institute. The research organization would want every detail about humanity's first contact with galactic civilization. "Tabin," he said to his communications officer, "send a priority message to the Institute. Tell them we've encountered a new species that might change everything we know about galactic politics." "What should I tell them about human capabilities?" "Sir?" Hyunki looked at the human ships through his viewport. They were sleek and powerful, obviously advanced beyond most council technology. But more impressive was how they had immediately come to help strangers in need. "Tell them that humans appear to be natural leaders," he said, "and that they have a moral code that puts duty to others above personal safety." "Sir, that's quite a statement." "Yes, it is, but I think it might be the most important discovery we've ever made." The formal diplomatic meetings would begin soon. Representatives from dozens of species would want to understand these mysterious humans who had appeared from nowhere to rescue aliens and defeat pirates. Captain Jiwan prepared for what might be the most important diplomatic mission in human history. Earth's first impression on the galactic community would determine their species' future among the stars. "Lieutenant Jae-hyun," she said to her communications officer, "send a message to Earth Command. Tell Admiral Dongsu that we've made contact with a galactic civilization, and tell him that humanity just became a major player in interstellar politics." "Yes, ma'am. Should I mention that we did it by accident?" Captain Ji-won smiled. "Yes. I think Admiral Dongsu will appreciate the irony. As the diplomatic shuttles approached her ship, Jiwon realized that this simple rescue mission had become the foundation for humanity's entrance into galactic society. A translation error had led to first contact, and Earth's response to a cry for help had demonstrated human character to the entire known galaxy. The future was uncertain, but it was clear that humanity would face it as part of a larger galactic community. The diplomatic meeting took place aboard Admiral Inho's flagship, the Galactic Unity. Representatives from 12 different species gathered in the massive conference room, with holographic displays showing participants from ships throughout the fleet. Captain Jiwon sat at one end of the table, flanked by her senior officers. Across from her, alien diplomats studied data pads filled with information about humanity's sudden appearance in galactic affairs. "Let me ensure I understand the situation correctly," Admiral Inho began. His species was tall and elegant, with silver skin and 4 arms that moved gracefully as he spoke. "Your government deployed a major military force based on a distress call from unknown aliens?" "That's correct, Admiral," Captain Jiwon replied. "The message identified the senders as humans in distress. We responded according to Earth's emergency protocols." Council Leader Kang Ho leaned forward. "But you discovered that the message was sent by accident. The aliens were not human at all." "Yes, but that didn't change our response. People were in danger and asking for help." Diplomat Hai Rim exchanged glances with other council members. "Captain, help me understand Earth's reasoning. You risked 37 warships to save 8 alien researchers you had never met." "Yes." "Why?" The simple question hung in the air. Captain Jiwon looked around the table at the alien faces watching her. She realized that this moment might define humanity's relationship with the galactic community forever. "Because they asked for help," she said simply. "In human culture, you don't ignore a cry for help. It doesn't matter who's asking or what species they belong to." "Even if it puts your own people at risk?" asked General Sunmi. "Especially then. The greater the risk, the greater the need for someone to act." Translator Chang Min worked frantically to ensure the concept was properly conveyed to all species present. The idea seemed foreign to most of the alien representatives. Admiral Kwang Su spoke up. "Captain, in galactic politics, species typically form alliances based on mutual benefit. Trade agreements, defense pacts, resource sharing. What does humanity gain by risking your ships for strangers?" Captain Jiwon was quiet for a moment. "We gain the knowledge that we did the right thing. That's all? That's everything, Commander." Hyun-ki had been invited to the meeting as the first alien to encounter humans. He listened to the conversation with growing amazement. "Admiral Inho," he said, "may I share my observations about human behavior?" "Please do, Commander. When my ship was attacked, we sent a distress call on an old frequency. We had no reason to believe anyone would hear it, much less respond. But not only did the humans hear it, they immediately deployed their most powerful fleet. Hyun-ki activated a holographic display showing the tactical data from the rescue. Look at how they fought the pirates. Perfect coordination, minimal casualties, surgical precision. They could have simply destroyed the pirate fleet and left. Instead, they captured most of the ships and processed the prisoners according to galactic law. "Your point, Commander?" asked Admiral Inho. "The humans didn't know galactic law existed until today. But their actions followed its principles perfectly. They protected the innocent, minimized casualties, and treated prisoners with dignity." Fleet Admiral Sunja spoke for the first time. Her species was known for their military expertise, and her opinion carried significant weight in council decisions. "I've reviewed the tactical reports from both engagements," she said. "Human military capability is extraordinary. Their technology, coordination, and strategic thinking are decades ahead of most council members." "And yet," added Captain Tae-young, They use that capability to rescue strangers and defeat criminals, not to conquer territory or demand tribute. The implications were sinking in around the table. Humanity possessed overwhelming military power, but used it for altruistic purposes. Captain G1, Admiral Inho said carefully, does Earth have any territorial ambitions in this region of space? None whatsoever, Admiral. We're exploring and learning about the galaxy. When we detected the distress call, our only concern was helping people in trouble. And if the Galactic Council were to offer humanity membership, we would be honored to consider it, though we know very little about your government or how it operates. Diplomat Yun B stepped forward. She had been Earth's chief diplomatic representative and had studied galactic politics intensively during the journey to this sector. If I may, she said, Earth's government has instructed me to propose a mutual exchange program. Human observers would study Council operations while Council representatives visit Earth to learn about our civilization. An interesting proposal, mused Council leader Kang Ho. Though unprecedented, we've never had a species join the Council without extensive preliminary negotiations. Perhaps, suggested Commander In-ho, we should focus on immediate concerns. This sector has been plagued by pirate activity for months. The human fleet has demonstrated remarkable effectiveness against such threats. Admiral Kwang Su nodded. The pirates we defeated today were part of a larger criminal network. There are at least 6 other pirate strongholds in nearby systems. R.A., you suggesting a joint operation? Captain Jiwan asked. I'm suggesting that humanity has proven itself as both military allies and moral partners, Admiral Kwang Su replied. Perhaps we could work together to clear this entire sector of criminal activity. General Sunmi agreed. The Trade Federation has lost 17 ships to pirates in this region. If humans are willing to help, we would gladly provide logistical support. Captain Ji-won looked at her senior officers. Lieutenant Da-un nodded slightly, indicating that the fleet was ready for extended operations. We would be honored to assist, Ji-won said, though we'll need to coordinate with Earth Command for a mission of that scope. Of course, Admiral In-ho agreed. This would be an excellent opportunity for our species to work together on a large scale. As the meeting continued, the scope of cooperation expanded. Council species offered to share star charts and intelligence about pirate movements. Humans provided tactical expertise and military technology. Scientists from both sides proposed joint research projects. Dr. Hyo Jun, Earth's chief science officer, had been quietly observing the negotiations. Now he spoke up. If I may suggest, this cooperation could extend beyond military operations. The research techniques that brought Commander Hyun-ki to this sector could be valuable to human science. Similarly, Earth's technology might benefit Council researchers. Commander Hyun-ki's eyes lit up. A scientific exchange program. The Kepler Institute would be fascinated by human research methods, and Earth scientists would love to study your experimental jump drive technology, Dr. Hyo Jun replied. The conversation shifted from simple cooperation to genuine partnership. Representatives began discussing trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and joint exploration missions. This is remarkable, observed diplomat Hay Rim. We've gone from fearing human expansion to planning extensive cooperation, all based on their response to a mistaken distress call. It demonstrates the importance of first impressions, noted translator Chang Min. Humanity's immediate reaction was to help strangers. That tells us everything we need to know about their character. Admiral In-ho called for a formal recess so that representatives could contact their governments. The proposals being discussed would require approval from the highest levels of Council leadership. As the aliens filed out of the conference room, Captain Ji-won remained behind with Commander Hyun-ki. Commander, she said, I want to thank you for supporting humanity in these discussions. Captain, I should thank you for saving my crew's lives. But beyond that, I believe your species could help the galaxy become a better place. How so? Because you respond to distress calls regardless of who sends them. Because you fight to protect the innocent rather than to conquer territory. Because you treat enemies with dignity even after defeating them. Hyun-ki paused, choosing his words carefully. The galaxy has been stable for centuries, Captain. But stable doesn't always mean good. Perhaps humanity's moral code is exactly what we need to move forward. Captain Ji-won smiled. I hope you're right, Commander. Earth has always believed that we're stronger when we work together. Today you proved that philosophy extends beyond your own species, Hyun-ki replied. That's a lesson the entire galaxy needs to learn. 6 months later, the Terra's hammer returned to Earth orbit, carrying the most important diplomatic delegation in human history. Commander Hyun-ki stood on the observation deck, staring in wonder at the blue-green world that had produced such remarkable people. It's beautiful, he said to Captain Ji-won, who was standing beside him. Very different from my home world, but beautiful. Earth has always been our inspiration, Ji-won replied. When we reached the stars, we carried the dream of finding other worlds just as precious. Behind them, representatives from 15 different species prepared for the formal ceremony that would make humanity a full member of the Galactic Council. The process had been accelerated based on humanity's actions during what historians were already calling the accidental response. Admiral Dong-Su met the delegation at Earth's primary space station. The old admiral had been promoted to Director of Galactic Affairs, a new position created specifically to handle humanity's expanding role in interstellar politics. Commander Hyun-ki, he said warmly, welcome to Earth. I understand we have you to thank for introducing us to the galactic community. Actually, Admiral, Hyun-ki replied with a smile, I think we should thank my communications officer's translation error. Without that mistake, we might never have met. The best accidents are the ones that lead to lasting friendships, Admiral Dong-Su agreed. The ceremony took place in the newly constructed Galactic Assembly Hall, a massive structure that could accommodate representatives from dozens of different species. Earth's leaders had spared no expense in demonstrating their commitment to interstellar cooperation. Admiral In-ho presided over the proceedings as senior council representative. His 4 arms moved gracefully as he spoke about humanity's remarkable introduction to galactic society. Never before has a species demonstrated such immediate commitment to universal principles, he announced to the assembled delegates. Earth's response to the distress call showed courage, compassion, and moral leadership that impressed the entire galaxy. Captain Ji-won, now promoted to Admiral, stood with the human delegation. Beside her, Diplomat Yun-bi carried the formal treaty documents that would bind Earth to the galactic community. Today, we welcome humanity not as junior members learning galactic ways, but as full partners in our shared future, Admiral In-ho continued. Their military prowess, scientific knowledge, and most importantly, their moral character make them valuable additions to our alliance. The formal treaty signing was witnessed by billions of beings across the galaxy through live holographic broadcasts. Earth's children watched in classrooms as their planet officially joined a community of worlds spanning thousands of light years. But the real celebration came afterward, during the first joint operation of the newly formed Human Galactic Response. Fleet Admiral Ji-won stood on the bridge of her flagship, now renamed the Unity's Promise, as her mixed crew prepared for their maiden mission. The crew included humans, but also volunteers from a dozen alien species eager to work alongside Earth's military. Admiral, reported Lieutenant Commander Jae-hyun, we're receiving a distress call from the Kepler research station. Ji-won smiled. Commander Hyun-ki had returned to his research work but now led a joint human-alien scientific program. His current project involved studying subspace phenomena that could revolutionize galactic communication. What's the nature of the emergency? She asked. Pirate attack on a civilian convoy near the station. The local defense force is outnumbered 3 to 1. Alert the fleet. All ships, prepare for emergency jump. The response was immediate. 30 ships from 6 different species powered up their engines and began coordinating their approach. The efficiency was remarkable, built on months of joint training and shared experience. Chief Engineer Wu Jin, now serving as the fleet's technical coordinator, reported from the engine room. "All ships ready for jump, Admiral. Estimated arrival in 47 minutes. Execute jump." The fleet disappeared into hyperspace, racing toward another crisis. But this time, they weren't responding to a mistaken distress call. They were fulfilling humanity's promise to protect any being who called for help, regardless of species or location. As the ships traveled through hyperspace, Admiral Jiwan reflected on how much had changed. Earth was no longer alone in the galaxy. Human colonies were being established in partnership with alien civilizations. Human technology was being shared freely to improve life across known space. Most importantly, Earth's moral principles had become a model for galactic society. The concept of responding to any distress call, regardless of the risk, had been adopted by the entire Council fleet. "Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Da-Un reported from the tactical station, "the research station is confirming our approach. Commander Hyun-Ki sends his regards and says he's not surprised to see us coming to help. Tell the commander that some traditions are worth maintaining," Ji-won replied. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace near the besieged convoy. The pirate ships immediately broke off their attack, recognizing the distinctive formation of the response. "Fleet, this is Admiral Ji-won of the Galactic Response Fleet," she announced over open channels. "Pirates' vessels, you are ordered to surrender immediately." The pirates' response was to flee toward the nearest jump point. They had learned not to fight the combined human-alien forces that had become legendary throughout the galaxy. "Shall we pursue, Admiral?" asked Captain Minsu from his escort ship. "Negative. Let them go with a warning. Our priority is the safety of the convoy." The rescue operation was completed without firing a shot. The mere presence of the response fleet had been enough to drive off the attackers. As the convoy continued, on its way, Admiral Ji-won received a message from Earth. "Admiral, this is President Yong-su," came the transmission from Earth's capital. "Congratulations on another successful mission. The Galactic Council has formally requested that Earth expand the response fleet to cover additional sectors." "Understood, Madam President. We're ready to take on that responsibility." "I know you are, Admiral. Earth is proud of what you've accomplished." As the fleet prepared to return to base, Commander Hyun-Ki's research ship approached the Unity's promise. He requested permission to come aboard for a personal meeting with Admiral Ji-won. They met in her ready room, where Hyun-Ki shared tea from his homeworld while Ji-won served coffee from Earth. "Admiral," he said, "I have news from the Kepler Institute. Our joint research project has produced some remarkable results." "What kind of results?" "We've discovered a way to boost communication signals across galactic distances instantaneously. No more waiting months for messages to travel between star systems." Ji-won's eyes widened. "That would revolutionize galactic government?" "Indeed. And, Admiral, the breakthrough came from combining human innovation with alien theoretical knowledge. Neither of our species could have achieved this alone." "That seems to be a recurring theme," Ji-won observed. "We're stronger together than apart." "Exactly. Which brings me to my real reason for visiting." Hyun-Ki pulled out a data pad. "The Institute wants to propose a new project, deep space exploration beyond the galactic rim, joint human-alien crews, seeking out new civilizations." "Exploration and first contact missions?" "Yes. And Admiral, they want you to command the expedition." Ji-won looked out the viewport at the stars. Somewhere beyond known space, other civilizations might be waiting for contact. Other species might need help or offer friendship. "Commander, will you be part of the expedition?" "I wouldn't miss it for anything," Hyun-Ki replied. "After all, my translation errors started this whole adventure. I should see where it leads next." Admiral Ji-won smiled and raised her coffee cup. "To accidental responses and the friendships they create." "To the future," Hyun-Ki agreed, raising his tea. "Outside the ship, The stars shone with infinite possibility. Humanity had joined the galactic community by accident, but they had earned their place through courage and compassion. Now they would help lead that community toward new discoveries and new alliances among the stars. The distress call that had started everything was long since answered. But Admiral G1 knew that somewhere in the galaxy, other voices would call for help. And, when they did, humanity and their alien allies would be ready to respond. Because that's what good neighbors do for each other. No matter how many light years separate their worlds, as the Unity's promise set course for home, its mixed crew of humans and aliens work together in perfect harmony, proof that the best accidents can lead to the greatest achievements. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, and now it was also full of hope.